Good morning. Uh, Myself is Dr. Lakshmi Narasimhacharyalu, Professor in Department of AC, St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. I would like to continue the part 2 of antenna parameters. There is antenna. First, we discussed so many parameters in the previous session. Now we are going to talk about the antenna efficiency. What is the efficiency of the antenna? Generally used to take efficiency, which is generally depends on the output by input, is called a gain generally, but the efficiency is linked between the gain and the directivity. That means the total antenna efficiency is used to take into account losses at the input terminals and within the structure of the antenna. That means generally used to take efficiency will be depends on how much power you are giving, how much power it should be radiated. So that means somewhat losses will be there during the transmission. So that is called the losses. That losses will be considered by using of the reflections due to the mismatching in a transmission line and the antenna. And the second one is the I square R losses. These two will be considered. So some losses will be there. For example, and the 10 watts of power is applied and you should get only 9 watts of power. And the 1 watt of power is losing. That means lost that power. That means losses will be there. Then the efficiency will be 90%. Like that. So therefore, the antenna efficiency, it is a very important parameter. So we used to take, this is the general antenna reference terminal, just to take. This is an antenna, input terminals at this end, left side, and the output at the flared out waveguide, just like. So this part is called an antenna. What antenna done actually? For example, the wave is traveling through this transmission line to up to this mouth. That is the one-dimensional wave. That should be converted to the three-dimensional wave into the free space. That is called photon to the electromagnetic wave. And the output of this, the flared out waveguide or the antenna. So here we'll get the three-dimensional waves, that is called the spherical waves. Spherical waves, that is all a three-dimensional structure. That means circular polarization wave should be propagated from the transmitting antenna to the destination, and in destination itself it have some what we call the same antenna should be arranged, that is called the receiving antenna. That three-dimensional wave again converting to the one-dimensional guided wave in the receiver side. So during this transmission somewhat losses will be there. That is the I square R losses, or you say that the reflection losses. Reflection losses means if the mismatching is there in a line, that means the terminating resistance, that means whatever the load which is not equivalent to the characteristic impedance or the line impedance, then mismatch will be occurs. During that time the standing waves will occur, somewhat the losses will be there. So that's why we used to take the power is related to the reflection coefficient. That means the receiving power is equivalent to the 1 minus gamma square into transmitting power. That means if you take for example 100 watts of power you are transmitting and it receives only 96 watts of power. What is the reflection coefficient? So we will apply that 100 is equivalent to the receiving power is equivalent to the 100 watts into 1 minus gamma square. What is the receiving power? 96 watts. Then 1 minus gamma square is equal to 96 by 100. Then 1 minus gamma square equivalent to the what we call 1 minus gamma square is equivalent to the 96 by 100. Then gamma square equivalent to the 1 minus 96 by 100. Then gamma square equal to 4 by 100. Then you will get gamma is equal to under root over 4 by 100. That is under root over 2 by 10. That means, under root over 4 by 100, then 2 by 10. That is called what? Gamma value is equal to the 0.2. Then automatically you will get the standing wave ratio. That is S is equal to the 1 plus gamma by 1 minus gamma. Then you will get 1 plus gamma by 1 minus gamma means what? 1 plus 0.2 by 1 minus 0.2, the 1.2 by 0.8, which is equal to 3 by 2, which is equal to 1.5. That is the standing wave ratio of that SWR of that given wave. Okay. So this is about the reflection, conduction and dielectric losses. These all losses, this is called the path losses to say that. So here, this is the reflection loss one, and the conduction losses and dielectric losses. If you take a dielectric losses, that's why you used to take the different types of currents, conduction current, and you say the conventional current, and you say that the what we call the displacement current. ID indicates that the displacement current, IC conduction current, I small ic, which is a conventional current like this. So the gamma value is there. Just I told the good example for this. The how the power is transmitted in a line and what is the reflections will form. Right? Now we are coming to this, the antenna efficiency, which is indicated by the E naught. E naught is equivalent to the ER into EC into ED. What is ER? Reflections. Due to the reflections, ER. EC is there due to the conduction current, due to the dielectric current, or whatever displacement current, you say that. So now, whatever I told, the same thing is there, but here they were taken the E naught and ECD. Or what I told, the power, that means the transmit and receiving powers like that. Now we will take E naught is the total efficiency, ER is the reflection efficiency, and ECD is the radiation efficiency. So therefore, the total efficiency is equal to ER into ECD. So therefore, you take it as E naught is equivalent to the 1 minus gamma in square into of ECD. So this is about the relating of the efficiency with the different parameters like in the reflection as well as the radiation efficiencies. So now the transmission line and the load. For example, already I told, but in a power in sense of the power. Now generally we used to take a transmission line structure. The structure have the two-wire transmission line. So here the load impedance is there and as well as the characteristic impedance also there, ZC and ZL like this. If the both load impedance and the characteristic impedance are equal, then the line will be perfectly matched. Therefore at that time there is no reflections. Then the reflection coefficient comes to 0. Then what is the reflection coefficient generally? The reflection coefficient is indicated here, the gamma in is equal to the ZL minus ZC by ZL plus ZC. If ZL is equivalent to the ZC, what happened? So you will take ZL is equal to the Zin. So Zin minus ZC by Zin plus ZC. This is the input reflection coefficient. So therefore, ER is equal to 1 minus gamma in square. What is the gamma in? Gamma in equal to Zin minus ZC by Zin plus ZC. So same. From this, the VSWR, which is indicated by S generally, which is equivalent to the 1 plus gamma by 1 minus gamma. So therefore, gamma is equal to VSWR minus 1 by VSWR plus 1. This is the relation between the standing wave ratio, voltage standing wave ratio and the reflection coefficient. So now, gain. What is the gain actually? Gain of an antenna in a given direction is defined as the ratio of the intensity in a given direction to the radiation intensity that would be obtained if the power accepted by the antenna were radiated isotropically. That means what actually? If you will take a gain measurement, for example, in the further, what is the, how we will get the measuring the gain of the antenna system? If you will take the 2 antenna method or 3 antenna methods is there, and it have the comparison method is there and the absolute method is there. For example, you used to take a absolute method. In the absolute method, you used to take the 2 antenna method. One is the transmitting, another one is the receiving antenna. You take it as generally the transmitting side only one antenna is there, and the receiving side you used to take one is isotropic, another one is the antenna under test. Which antenna you are going to measure? So first of all, you have to apply a signal at the source, and you will measure the how much power it is, take it in a isotropic radiator, and you have to find the efficiency of that antenna. That is the reference antenna gain, which is indicated by G like this. G1 you say that. If again you have to switch over that knob in the receiving side, which will be connected to that line, and you have to find what is the power is transmitted through it. And by using the Friis transmission equation, the power relations will be there. From that, the power, how much gain is there, which is equivalent to the G is equivalent to the received power of the isotropic radiator to the whatever the antenna under test radiator into the gain of the isotropic radiator. That is a measurement of the antenna. So it stating like that only, that is a practicality. The gain of the antenna system is defined as the ratio of the intensity in a given direction to the isotropic antenna gain. That is called the gain of the antenna system generally. The radiation intensity corresponding to the isotropically radiated power is equivalent to the power accepted or issued the input terminals of the antenna, and which is divided by the 4 pi square. So this is about the isotropic radiator, PR by 4 pi square, like that. PR is equivalent to the radiation intensity by the 4 pi square. That is the radiated power. So therefore, the gain of the antenna is closely related to the directivity. It is a measure that taken into account the efficiency of the antenna as well as its direction capabilities. That means only at one condition the gain is equal to directivity, which is in the case of the isotropic radiator. Because isotropic radiator, it is the reference antenna which gives the 100% efficiency, then used to take the gain is equivalent to the directivity. Only exceptional case this is. In other antenna systems, gain is always less than the directivity. Therefore, used to take gain G is equivalent to the efficiency into of directivity of the antenna system. So directivity is always greater than gain in all antennas except the isotropic reference antenna. So directivity is a measure that describes only the directional properties of the antenna and is therefore controlled only by the pattern. So P radiated is equivalent to the like this, EC into ED into P in. The P radiated is equal to ECD into P in. So that is radiated power, which is related to that. The gain is equal to G into 4 pi radiation intensity to the total input power accepted. So that is G is equal to 4 pi into U of theta comma phi by P in. That means what actually? The radiated power, that is the intensity, radiation intensity to the input power into the 4 pi, that is called the gain. So P radiated is equal to ECD into P in. Already know that. So from this relation, P in is equal to what? Just will take the relation of that previous one, that is the P in is equal to P radiated by ECD. So therefore G is equal to the 4 pi U of theta comma phi by P radiated by ECD, which is equal to efficiency in the E of the radiated efficiency into a 4 pi into U of theta comma phi by P radiated. That is called the directivity. So just now I told G is equal to eta into D. The same formula is there. G is equivalent to the ECD into D, where ECD is the efficiency of the antenna system and G is the gain and D is the directivity. So now you used to take, this is the relation between directivity and the gain. So therefore radiation efficiency indicated by ECD here, and conduction efficiency EC, and ED is the dielectric efficiency. So this is the final formula for the gain and the directivity. If you coming to the measure gain in a decibels, so that is the 10 log of base 10 ECD into D naught. So again you will in logarithm already know that, which is 10 log base 10 ECD plus 10 log base 10 D naught, which is the gain in decibels. This is for the calculation part. Absolute gain. You used to take the absolute gain, which is equivalent to the G absolute of theta comma phi is equivalent to the E naught into D of theta comma phi, where E naught is equivalent to the ER into ECD. So therefore here E naught is the antenna total efficiency. So therefore 1 minus gamma square into ECD D of theta comma phi. Now you will take the ER is equal to what? 1 minus gamma square whole square. Gamma square, 1 minus gamma square. This is called the reflection efficiency. So therefore gain, absolute gain is equal to the reflection efficiency into of radiation efficiency into directivity. Okay, so therefore here in the conduction efficiency, here ED is the dielectric efficiency in this. So now this is about the relative gain. Relative gain is equal to the ratio of the power gain in a given direction to the power gain of a reference antenna. Just now already I told how we are going to measure the antenna gain. So first we have to take a reference antenna, that is called isotropic antenna gain one side, and you will take the any type of antenna under test. You have to find here also how much power it is received, and the both ratios will be equivalent to the power ratios. So according to that, the power input must be the same for both antennas. So therefore G is equivalent to the 4 pi radiation intensity U of theta comma phi by Pn lossless isotropic source. That is the first, this is the gain relation, which is the dimensionless, and the partial gains you say that Z0 is equivalent to the G theta plus G phi, which is relates to the theta component, which is relates to the phi component. G theta is equal to 4 pi U theta by Pn, and the G phi is equal to 4 pi U phi by Pn. So this is the partial gains with respect to the theta and phi. This is called the relative gain and the relation between the directivity and the gain of the antenna system. Good example, just to see, in above formulas, we used to take that the values example, that is the resonant and lossless lambda by 2 dipole antenna, which is input impedance is equivalent to the ZC equivalent to the 50, input impedance is equal to 73, in the lossless this is a, therefore ECD equal to 1, that means the 100% efficiency, say that. So therefore U is equal to B naught sin cube theta, therefore it is a half-wave dipole, already I told in the previous sessions. So now D naught equivalent to the 4 pi into U max by P radiation. So therefore G naught equal to E naught into D naught. So from that relation, U max already know that B naught into sin cube theta, where it should get the maximum. So theta equal to pi by 2, then we will apply that, and U max is equal to beta naught, B naught. So now the answer is, you take it as the B naught and you will apply like this, and you will get the directivity, which is the B naught into 3 pi square by 4, and you will get the directivity which is equivalent to the 4 pi into of this one, B naught by B naught into, that means already know that what is the relation in the previously, what we have, U max by P radiation, this is the formula actually. So the directivity, you have to 4 pi into U max by P radiation. So both values by calculating, after calculations, you have to found the values, the both values should be substituted here, and you will get the results is 1.697. This is the directivity of the antenna for the given problem. Now you will take, which will be considered in a decibel, so 10 log of this value, and you will get the 2.297 decibels. So similarly, you used to take the ER is equivalent to the 1 minus gamma in square. So therefore gamma in is equivalent to the 1 by Z in minus ZC by Z in plus ZC. What is the input impedance given? 73. What is the characteristic impedance? 50. So both will be applied, and you will get the reflection coefficient in, that is 0.187. Then you have to find the ER, reflection efficiency, which is equal to 1 minus gamma square, then 1 minus 0.187 whole square, therefore which is equivalent to the 0.965. This is the reflection efficiency. Now you used to take, this is the E naught equivalent to the ER into ECD, then 0.965 into of 1, which is equal to 0.965. This is called the radiation efficiency, say that. So the total efficiency of the antenna system, which is 96.5% generally. So again you used to take, which is considered in the decibels, then 10 log of this value, and you will get the results like this. And finally the gain of the antenna system, which is equivalent to the G equivalent to E naught into directivity. E naught already we got it, 0.965 into 1.697, that equal 1.638, which is equal to 2.142 decibels. So from this problem already you know that what is the relation between gain and directivity, right? So directivity is more than the gain of the antenna system. It depends on the efficiency of the antenna. And now the beam efficiency and the bandwidth. The beam efficiency and the bandwidth, these two parameters are very important. Beam efficiency, we will take it into the account of the two major lobe and minor lobe beams. So beam efficiency equivalent to the omega m capital M, that is called the major lobe beam. Similarly, you used to take a omega small m, that is the minor lobe. So therefore the ratio of the major lobe to the total beam area is called the beam efficiency, generalizing definition. Just will take this is the beam efficiency in a mathematical way. Now we are going to take this is the u of theta gamma phi sin theta d theta d phi by same here 0 to theta 1 in the numerator side, which is the major lobe axis, and it is the total beam efficiency beam area, which is the u of theta gamma phi into sin theta d theta d phi. Just you will observe that this is the theta 1 and theta 1, which is the angles here, and the total phi is there here. So therefore phi indicates 0 to 2 pi, and only it is a 0 to pi, but the angle in this, the theta 1 angle 0 to theta 1 only. So therefore the ratio of the major lobe to the total beam area. So therefore here used to take polarization. What is the polarization? Generally used to take a polarization is three types generally. That is what is that polarization is? Elliptical polarization, linear polarization, and circular polarization. This is the polarization, how it should be propagate a wave generally. Along the axis, which is the linear polarization, either in horizontal or vertical like this, and the elliptical polarization. In elliptical polarization, we used to take a major axis and minor axis, and both will be perpendicular to each other, but both major and minor axis will be unequal. This is the condition for the elliptical polarization. If we will come into the circular polarization, the polarization will be in the 90 degrees apart, the both, but the total major and minor axis both will be equal. That means the just like a sphere. Sphere means it have only radius. That means the every side the radius is same. So therefore major and minor axis will be equal. So Ex and Ey will be equal. But in elliptical polarization, Ex and Ey should not be equal. So the polarization linear, circular, elliptical. Just now I told. The linear circular polarization have counterwise and the counterclockwise. The counterwise means the right circular polarization, and the counterclockwise the left circular polarization. And similarly for the elliptic also right circular polarization and left circular polarization, counterclockwise and clockwise and counterclockwise. So here axial ratio is there. Axial ratio means the ratio of the major lobe to the minor lobe like this. So therefore generally used to take the axial ratio is equivalent to the 1, that is the circular polarization. If it is more than 1, then it seems as a elliptical polarization like. So now the linear polarization, just now I told the Ex naught, Ey naught. Ex naught is not equal to 0, Ey naught is 0. And Ex naught is 0, Ey naught is not equal to 0. Both will be not equal to 0. So that means what actually? The linear polarization A, B, C used to take. If you will take this is the Ex not equal to 0 means some value will be there. Linearly it should only on x-axis like. Ey comes to 0. And similarly it is a vice versa. And the both will be there, but the delta phi is equal to the plus or minus n phi, where n pi, where the n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. And now circular polarization. In circular polarization both will be equal. Ex not equal to Ey naught. That means this is a major and minor, both axes will be, xy axis both will be equal. Then it forms a spherical or sphere, whatever it may be, circular. So therefore delta phi is equivalent to the n plus half, plus or minus half plus n by n into pi. And here the n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Whether it is a positive direction, that is called the clockwise. Whether it is a negative, that is a counterclockwise. That means right hand circular polarization and left hand circular polarization, both respectively. So now while coming to this circular polarization, both will be 90 degrees apart and both axes will be equal, Ex not equal to Ey naught. But in this, Ex naught is not equal to Ey naught, but both will be the different with the delta phi is equal plus or minus n pi, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. That means again Ex not equal to Ey naught, del phi is not equivalent to the delta phi is not equivalent to this value. This is the second condition. Then the axial ratio, which is indicated by here AR, and the ratio of the major axis to the minor axis. So therefore, if it is greater than 1, then the polarization become a elliptical, right? Either right circular or left circular. So now AR is always in between the 1 and infinity. And now to determine the polarization, how we are going to determine here? Just to see that E of x comma y comma z comma t, just will take the real term of the electric field xyz of e power j omega t, E of x comma y comma z and t, plot as a function of time, and here plot phase of as a function of time here also. Function of time, this is in the mod, that is the amplitude like that. It is a phase, both will be a function of time. And here the example, you used to take E, they are given, and Ex is equal to the Ey is equal to. The solutions, just like this. Ex and Ey, this is the numerical one. We have to apply and solve it. And now, this is the circular polarization, which is a clockwise direction. Just will take here the two components basically here, 1, and the Ey is equal to the Ey naught, which is equal to 2, delta phi is equal to pi by 2 and 90 degrees. The circular clockwise direction, this is, just to observe that. And similarly, polarization loss factor, which is the polarization loss factor, which is indicated by rho omega into rho a whole square, which is equal to cos psi p by psi p whole square. Polarization determines in its transmitting mode, generally antenna, and incident wave, which is the polarization determined in the direction of the wave travel, right? This is a loss factor. What is the loss factor in this? The polarization, which is indicated like this, and the polarization loss factor, which is in dB, which is equivalent to, polarization loss factor is always in between the 0 and 1, but you used to take the 10 log of rho omega into rho a, which is equivalent to the 20 log of rho omega into rho a, and it is in between minus infinity to the 0. This is also considered. And now this is the rho a and rho w, how it is varying. And now this is antipolarization in transmitting mode, incident wave polarization in direction of the wave travel, which is indicated like this. And using this, the clockwise direction and the counterclockwise direction is the maximum, and CW, clockwise direction or counterclockwise direction is maximum, clockwise and counterclockwise is the minimum, counterclockwise and clockwise is minimum. This is the it depends on the direction of the wave travel. Polarization efficiency, which is indicated by Pe, which is equivalent to the Le into E incident square by Le square into E incidence square. So the vector effective length of the antenna Le is, and E is the incident electric field of the antenna. So polarization mismatch or loss factor should be considered by using of this formula, and we have to find the efficiency of polarization. This is a good example what they were given. Incident wave they were given here, the Ax into E naught of x comma y e power minus jkz like this, Ax plus Ay like. So now we used to take, this is a solution given. Just to observe that. Whatever EA is equal to AX plus AY into ER of theta comma phi. So AX plus AY by root 2 into root 2 E of R comma theta comma phi, which is rho A is this one, the rho W is equal to AX here. So therefore the PLF is equal to rho W into rho A whole square. So therefore AX into AX plus AY by root 2 whole square. Already know that the dot product AX into AX equal to 1, AX into A dot, AX dot into AX dot, AX equal to 1, AX dot into AY equal to 0. So therefore 1 by root 2 whole square, that's equivalent to the 1 by 2. Then the PLF is equal to half, which is indicated in this is the in decibels, 10 log of base 10 of that is equal to minus 3 dB. And now example circular polarized antennas. This is closed dipole and a circular ground plane antennas. This is the input impedance. Just to take this is the antenna system, radiated wave like this. Okay, so here the one dimensional wave is transmitted through the single dimensional wave through the transmission line here, and which will be passed through the antenna. What is antenna? Antenna acts as a transducer. The one form of energy should convert to the other form of energy, generally transducer. So here it is a tapered one, the way guided wave, just like horn you say that the tapered region is there, which acts as an antenna. This is 1D is converted to the 3D. Like you say that photon will be converted to the 3-dimensional electromagnetic wave. Okay, so therefore radiated wave through this. And now you take a Thevenin's equivalent. Already know that the Thevenin's equivalent. What is the equivalent circuit of the Thevenin's? Open circuit voltage is in series with the Thevenin's resistance. So similarly you used to apply here, and you will get the in the Nortons already know the short circuit currents. So ZA equivalent to the RA plus JXA, RL plus RR plus JXA, like where ZG equal to RG plus JXG. So the generator current VG ZI, which is indicated like this, so VG by ZA plus ZG, and the VG by RL, RG, RL, RR plus of J into XA plus XG. So you take this is the current flowing through this, the VG by so and so. So now the power radiated by antenna, which is indicated by PR is equivalent to the half into Ig square into RR, where RR is the radiation resistance. So the power dissipated by the antenna, which is power dissipation means the load, just you will take the PL is equivalent to the half into Ig square into of RL, loss resistance, that is power dissipated by the generator, which is equivalent to the a half into of Ig square into Rg. So at the generator, how much resistance is it? That is called the Rg here. This is the loss resistance, power dissipation, and it is the radiation resistance. So therefore the efficiency of the antenna depends on the radiation resistance and loss resistance. Generally the total resistance, which is equal to RR plus RL, which is indicated, that is called the Rg. And you say that only conjugate, already know that the maximum power delivered by using of the maximum power transfer theorem, which we already studied in a second year network analysis and all. So in that we used to take the three conditions is there, the pure resistance and the complex conjugate condition and the pure imaginary at the load. So at that moment complex conjugate condition gives the matching, the power, perfect power transmission. So therefore used to take Xa equal to minus Xg. So this is the condition. Then the radiation, for the radiation and dissipation, just will take the radiation efficiency, which is equivalent to the RR by RR plus RL. That means the efficiency of the antenna depends on the radiation resistance. The antenna efficiency of the antenna is equivalent to the ratio of the radiation resistance to the total resistance. Right? So now used to take like this. This is the under conjugate matching condition, the power supplied by the generator. So here you take half into Vg into Ig star. Then Vg as usual, already Ig you got it in the previous equations, and you will apply here, and Vg star by 2 into RR plus RL. So Vg square by 4 into 1 plus into of 1 by RR plus RL. So 1 half of the supplied power PS. So here the half into PS is equivalent to Vg square by 8 into of 1 plus RR by RL. RR plus RL is dissipated as a heat RG, the internal resistance of the generator. The other one half of the delivered to the antenna for a dissipation on the radiation. So now you used to take like this is the radiation resistance, radiated power, this is the loss power, and you used to take the generator power, then the total, therefore the RR plus RL is equivalent to the RG, the conjugate matching condition. Then you will get finally the radiated power and the loss power combination, which is equivalent to the total power. So therefore PZ is equivalent to the PR plus PL. So here by using of the matching the both equations, the above equations will be equivalent, then PR plus PL is equal to PZ. Now the maximum power delivered, so here the PR, where it should be maximum power delivered, PR, so here Vg square by 8 into of RR by RR plus RR whole square, RL whole square, and that is the radiated power. And similarly the power loss, which is equal to Vg square by 8 into RL by RR plus RL whole square, and which is equal to the total power, the combination of both. So the generator resistance equivalent to the radiating resistance plus loss resistance. And the conjugate conditions, generating what is the imaginary, complex equivalent to the conjugate of the load. So we will take like this. So this is an antenna system. Already know that the incident wave, how the coming over here, the load here, antenna and receiving mode. Previously what we taught, that is the transmitting, this is the receiving. The similar antenna will be there, and the reverse process will be applied here. The three-dimensional is converted to the single guided waves. So here the same is there. Previously it is generator, it is a load here. So same Thevenin's principle applied here. The same thing will be there. Receiving mode of the antenna, the similar calculation part, and the antenna radiation efficiency, which is indicated by radiation efficiency. Already you know that the E naught equal to ER ECD, and similarly you say, and 1 minus gamma square into ECD, where ER ECD is the radiation efficiency, and ECD equivalent to the power radiated by the antenna to the the ratio of the power radiated by the antenna to the power delivered to the antenna. That means PR by PR plus PL. Finally, which is equivalent to the RR by RR plus RL. Already I told this one, right? So therefore the DC applications just will take RL is equal to RDC in the rho L by A generally, which is the 1 by sigma into rho L by A. And similarly HF high frequency applications, RL is equal to RHF, which is equal to RS into L by P. So where the P is the perimeter of the cross section. Sometimes you say that the A also RL is equal to rho L by R, like this. So the length of the wire L, and the A is the area of the cross section of the wire, and R is the conductor surface of the surface resistance, and sigma is the conductivity of the wire, Siemens per meter. This is the examples. If you will give a length is equal to lambda by 2, the RR equals 73 ohms, the resonant condition Xa equal to 0, frequency equal to 100 megahertz, sigma equal to 5.7 in 10 power 7 Siemens per meter, and B is equivalent to 3 into 10 power minus 4 lambda. Then you used to find the efficiency of the antenna system. So what is the efficiency? RR by RR plus RL. Then you will find first lambda value, which is 3 meters, and length equal to 1.5 meters because lambda by 2, and again the C you used to find, that is the 2 pi B, and you will get the circumference, and the HF resistance already we know that the 0.698. So therefore now because the L is equal to lambda by 2, therefore the RL is equal to half into RH, so therefore 0.349 ohms. Then you will consider as RR by RL plus RR. RR already given 73 ohms. Then RL we found that 0.349. Then you will substitute those values and get the 0.9952. That means the radiation efficiency, which is equivalent to the 99.52. Okay, so this is about the solution of the problem. So here the effective length of the effective length, vector effective length of antenna. So here the effect of length of an antenna, whether it be a linear or a aperture antenna, is a quantity that is used to determine the voltage induced on the open circuit terminals. Generally used to take effective length is equivalent to the ratio of the open circuit voltage of the antenna terminals to the incident electric field of an antenna. This is a general effective length mathematical formula. So here just you will observe that the terminals of the antenna, when a wave impinges upon it, the vector effective length Le for an antenna is usually complex vector quantity represented by Le of theta comma phi. So now complex quantity, the real and imaginary both will be there with respect to theta and phi. Therefore, used to take a theta L theta of theta comma phi plus a phi vector Le of theta comma phi, L phi of theta comma phi. The effective length represents the antenna in a transmitting and the receiving modes, and it is particularly useful in relating the open circuit voltage of a receiving antenna. This relation can be expressed as VOC is equal to E incident into Le. So already I told the effective length is equal to the ratio of the open circuit voltage at an antenna terminals to the incident electric field. The same here what they were given, the open circuit voltage at an antenna terminals which is equivalent to the product of incident electric field and vector effective length. So therefore this is a very important formula for the effective length of the antenna. So now we will coming to the effective aperture area. This is very important. Generally the antenna have a effective aperture area and the physical aperture area, both will be there. Generally physical aperture area is more than the effective aperture area, because whatever the radiation is done in antenna in only effective aperture, not the total physical aperture. So therefore AE is equivalent to the eta into or epsilon into AP. That means effective aperture area is always less than the physical aperture area. So now we will go through this. The ratio of the available power at the terminals of a receiving antenna to the power flux density of a plane wave incident on the antenna from that direction, the wave being polarized matched to the antenna. The effective aperture area means, what is actual definition they were given here? The ratio of available power at the terminals of a receiving antenna to the power flux density of a plane wave incident on the antenna. That means whatever the available power at the receiving end of the antenna to the applied power flux density, that is called the effective aperture area. Applied power flux density of a plane wave incident, whatever the incident wave is there, right? That power flux density, the ratio of power available at the terminals to the power flux density of a plane wave incident. This is called the effective aperture. So now you used to take in diagram, you say that this is the effective aperture area indicated by A for a given antenna system. You say that this is the receiver, antenna is connecting like this, and you will use to take, this is the effective aperture of the antenna system. The electric fields will like this. This is electric field, direction of the propagation towards here. So therefore, already effective aperture area, which is equal to PT equal to the Wi into AE, where A is the ratio of the PT by Wi, where PT is the power delivered to the load and the Wi is the power density in incident wave. So this is the effective aperture area. Now we used to take effective aperture, which is the effective aperture is PT by Wi, already know that, where PT is the half into IT square into RT by Wi. So A is equal to VT square by 2 Wi like this. into RT by the total resistance. RL plus RL, RR plus RL plus RT whole square plus XA plus XT whole square. Then this is the maximum effective aperture area which is indicated, and if it is a transmitting antenna, AET is there. If the receiving antenna, that is AER. So this is about the effective aperture area. Because so here VR square by 8 WI into of 1 by RL plus RR. That means it completely depends on the loss resistance and the radiative resistance. These two are very important factors. So here, just to observe that the scattering area defined as the equivalent area when multiplied by the incident power density is equivalent to the scattered re-radiated power under a conjugate matching condition, which is similarly written this equation here, Vt square by 8W into of RR by RL plus RR whole square. So the loss area, which is indicated by AL, capture area indicated by AC, these two formulas. Okay, the capture area is equal to the effective area plus scattering area plus loss area. That means capture area, that is the physical area, I say that. Capture area is equivalent to the effective aperture area plus scattering area, reflections, somewhat losses will be there. So therefore reflective scattering area and the loss area. That means how many three areas is there? It have the resistances like, so the radiating resistance and loss resistance. This is the load resistance, whatever it may be. So now the very maximum no loss AEM is equal to lambda square by 4 pi into D naught. Already know that the gain is equal to 4 pi AE by lambda square. From that formula, you used to take the maximum no loss and the effective aperture area of an antenna, which is indicated by D into lambda square by 4 pi. Now the aperture efficiency, already I told physical aperture. So now effective aperture, the ratio of the effective aperture area to the physical aperture area is called the aperture efficiency. So epsilon AP equal to AEM by AP. Aperture antenna, AEM is always less than or equal to AP, and aperture efficiency is always less than or equal to 1. If the aperture efficiency equivalent to the 1, then physical aperture is equal to effective aperture. Okay, for the wire antenna, effective aperture is always greater than the physical aperture. When it is possible, epsilon AP is much greater than 1, then it is possible, based on a cross section of a wire. So more general, taking into the account the losses, the A is equal to lambda square by 4 pi E naught into of D of theta comma phi rho W into rho A whole square. So AEM is equal to lambda square by 4 pi E naught into D naught of rho W into rho A whole square. That means what is the difference between here and there? Just to observe that this is at the absolute, this is G naught absolute at the, and here also this is the effective. Okay, it is the maximum. This is the maximum, this is the effective. That is the main difference between them. AEM is equal to lambda square by 4 pi into D naught. ECD into 1 minus gamma square into gamma rho omega into rho A whole square. This is the power loss factors. This is propagation loss factor, PLF. This is E naught. And this is the relation. This is the taking into the account the losses where we are taking the effective aperture area. And now this is a good example for that. Just you take a dipole antenna, which is L is always much less than lambda generally. So you used to take the RR is equal to 80 into pi L by lambda whole square. So therefore RL equal to 0, for example, loss resistance is 0. Then you will take into the account the AEM is equal to 3 lambda square by 8 pi, which is equal to 0.119 lambda square. Maximum directivity. If you will take two antennas separated with the R, this is called the communication link. You say that. So the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna, which will be separated by some distance, which is indicated here R. Here the antenna effective aperture area AET, here the antenna effective aperture area AER, and the antenna height HT, antenna height HR, distance between the two antennas indicated by R, and here the antenna 1 and antenna 2, you say that. One is the transmitter, other one is the receiver. Similarly, both antennas will be identical. There is no variation between them. So the direction of the propagation from transmitting to the receiving antenna, the maximum directed to the maximum effective area by using of this. So here W naught equal to whatever the antenna 1 were isotropic, its radiated power density at a distance R is isotropic, therefore you take W naught equal to Pt by 4 pi R square, right? Where the receiving antenna receive the signal, so the total radiated power, whatever the power radiated from that, which is received by the receiving antenna, because of the directive properties of the antenna, actually a density which is equivalent to the Wt equivalent to the W naught into dt, where you say that Pt by 4 pi R square into dt. So now Pr is equal to the power collected at the receiving antenna and the transfer to the load, which is indicated by Pr. Pr is equal to Wt into Ar. Wt already know that the previous equation. So Pt by 4 pi R square into dt into Ar, where Ar is the effective aperture of the receiving antenna. Now you will take the Pr by Pt into a 4 pi R square equal to dt into Ar. Similarly, as usual, if the antenna 2 is used as the transmitter, if the antenna 1 is a receiver, then the similar pattern you are applying. So Pr by Pt into 4 pi R square equal to dr into At. Here dt into Ar. Okay. So now the equating the two, that is the dt into Ar equal to dr into At. Therefore dt by At equal to dr by Ar. Therefore dt equivalent to the d naught t, which is the transmitter side. This is dot, whatever it may be. And here dot by Atm is equal to dor by Arm. So from this, the transmitting here, and it is the receiving maximum. Receiving is infinitesimal dipole. If you take a receiving antenna infinitesimal dipole, then Atm is equal to Arm by dor, which is equal to 3 lambda square by 8 pi by 1.5, which is equal to lambda square by 4 pi. Transmitter is isotropic and the receiver is infinitesimal. Then you will get, this is the results of the AEM and ATM. So AEM is equal to the ATM equal to lambda square by 4 pi into d naught. The maximum effective aperture area of any antenna is related to its maximum directivity. This is the relation between directivity and the effective aperture area of the antennas. So you will take this formula, generally used to take, this is the AEM is equivalent to the ECD into lambda square by 4 pi into d naught. Okay. So now if the reflection and the polarization losses are also included to it, then the maximum effective aperture area, which will be rewrite the above equation, is like this. That is the E naught into of lambda square by 4 pi into d naught and the rho w and rho a whole square. So again you rewrite that equation, which is indicated by ECD into 1 minus gamma square into lambda square by 4 pi into d naught rho omega into rho a whole square. This is including the losses also. So now we are coming to this, the Friis transmission equation. This is the communication link. How we are going to take into the account. This is just like this. The two antennas are fixed at some certain distance. You say that the kilometers or whatever it may be. Then you used to take the same similar way. Here the Pt is the transmitting power, Ht is the height of the transmitting antenna, Aet is the effective aperture area of the transmitting antenna, and similarly Pr is the received power at the receiving antenna, Hr is the receiving antenna height, Aer is the effective aperture area of the receiving antenna, and the distance between the two antennas is indicated by the R, and the wave is propagating in a direct ray and the indirect ray, I mean the reflected ray. This is actually the transmitting and receiving antennas are placed. The Friis transmission equation relates the power received to the power transmitted between the two antennas separated by a distance r, which is always greater than 2d square by lambda, where the d is the large dimension of the either antennas. Already we discussed in the previous near field and far field. Generally used to take the measurement of the antenna system is always considered in the far field radiations, and the distance between the antenna to the far field radiation, which is indicated as the 2d square by lambda. So that's why the distance is more than that generally. Let us assume that the transmitting antenna is initially isotropic. If the input power at the terminals of the transmitting antenna Pt, then the isotropic power density W naught at the distance r from the antenna is indicated by W naught equivalent to the E1 in Et into of Pt by 4 pi r square, right? So now where Et is the radiation efficiency of the transmitting antenna. Now for a non-isotropic transmitting antenna, the power density of the above equation in the direction theta t and phi t can be rewritten as Wt equal to the Pt into Gt of theta comma phi 1 by 4 pi r square. And again used to rewrite the equation like this, and used to take, this is the E1 Pt dr of theta comma phi 1 by 4 pi r square. Since the effective aperture area AR of the receiving antenna is related to its efficiency ER and a directivity dr, therefore AR equal to ER into dr of theta comma phi into lambda square by 4 pi. The amount of the power PR collected by the receiving antenna can be written from the equation 2.114 and the 2.115, these two equations. Then we will apply that PR equal to ER into dr of theta r comma phi r lambda square by 4 pi into Wt. So again you rewrite this equation. Finally you take Et Er into of lambda square into d of theta comma phi transmitting and d of theta comma phi receiving by 4 pi r whole square into Pt, where Pt is the transmitted power, where Pr is the received power, into of reflection coefficient of the both transmitting and receivings. So now used to take that equation, and finally we will get the result is Pr by Pt equivalent to the G 1 minus gamma t whole square into 1 minus gamma r whole square into of lambda by 4 pi r whole square into Gt Gr into rho t into rho r whole square. This is the final equation, and again we rewrite this, which is relates to the directivity Pr by Pt equal to dot into dr into lambda by 4 pi r whole square. So more general includes the losses, then Pr by Pt equal to Gt into Gr into lambda by 4 pi r whole square. This is the final resultant equation, where rho t rho r is the reflection coefficients, the free space loss factor which is there. Yeah.